शुक्लांबरधरं विष्णुं शशिवर्णं चतुर्भुजं प्रसन्नवदनं ध्यायेत् सर्वविघ्नोपशान्तये। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। अगजानन पद्मार्कं गजाननमहर्निशम् अनेकदन्तं भक्तानाम् एकदन्तमुपास्महे। श्रीमहागणपतये नमः। गुरवे सर्वलोकानां भिषजे भवरोगिणां निधये सर्वविद्यानां श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं। ज्ञानानन्दमयं देवं निर्मलस्फटिकाकृतिम् आधारं सर्वविद्यानां श्रीहयग्रीवमुपास्महे। श्रीहयग्रीवमूर्तये नमः। सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणि विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा। श्रीमहासरस्वत्यै नमः। उमाकोमलहस्ताब्जसम्भावितललाटकं हिरण्यकुण्डलं वन्दे कुमारं पुष्करस्रजं। वेट्रिवेल् मुरुगनुक्कु हर हरोहरा। लोकवीर्यं महापूज्यं सर्वरक्षाकरं विभुं पार्वतीहृदयानन्दं शास्तारं प्रणमाम्यहं। स्वामिये शरणमय्यप्पा। वागर्ताविव सम्पृक्तौ वागर्तप्रतिपत्तये जगतः पितरौ वन्दे पार्वती परमेश्वरौ। श्रीपार्वती परमेश्वराभ्यां नमः। कोमलं पूजयन् वेणुं श्यामलोऽयं कुमारकः वेदवेद्यं परब्रह्मा तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। अस्मद्गुरुचरणारविन्दाभ्यां नमः। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। श्रीकृष्ण गोविन्द हरे मुरारे श्रीनाथ नारायण वासुदेव। पीताम्बरं करविराजितचक्रशङ्ख कौमोदकी सरसिजं करुणासमुद्रं राधासहायम् अतिसुन्दरमन्दहासं वातालयेशम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। कृष्णो रक्षतु मां चराचर गुरुः कृष्णं नमस्ये सदा। कृष्णेनैव सुरक्षितोऽहमसकृत् कृष्णाय दत्तं मनः। कृष्णादेव समुद्भवो मम विभो कृष्णस्य दासोऽस्म्यहम्। कृष्णे भक्तिरचञ्चलास्तु भगवन् हे कृष्ण तुभ्यं नमः। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं नम्राणां सन्निधत्ते सततमपि पुरस्तैरणभ्यर्थितानपि आर्तान् कामानजस्रं वितरति परमानन्दसान्द्रां गतिं च। इत्थं निःशेषलभ्यो निरवधिकफलः पारिजातो हरे त्वं क्षुद्रं तं शक्रवाटी ध्रुममभिलषति व्यर्थमर्त्यव्रजोऽयं। श्रीगुरुवायूरप्पा शरणं श्रीभट्टपादम् अनिशं हृदि भावयामि। वंशीविभूषितकरात् नवनीरदाभात् पीताम्बरात् अरुणबिम्बफलाधरोष्टात् पूर्णेन्दुसुन्दरमुखात् अरविन्दनेत्रात् कृष्णात् परं किमपि तत्त्वमहं न जाने। കൈരണ്ടും കൂപ്പി ഞാൻ വീണ്ടുമീറക്കുന്നു നീരജലോചന നിന്നോടായി. ഏതീനു മഞ്ഞനെ കുമ്പീരേണ്ടാത്തോരു പ്രീതിയിൽ നീ എന്നെ പാലിക്കുന്നായി. കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ ജയ കൃഷ്ണ ഹരേ. Good evening, everyone. Thanks a lot for joining in the evening, just into the schedule. Wonderful to meet. It's always good to see few men among there as well. Majority of my classes end up being a lot of women. I always welcome more men to join. So I really appreciate, Biju, Hari, and Girish, and Kumar, and everybody else joining as well. So what we'll do is, so typically, the first class, because some of you may know each other, but we just go through a quick round of introduction. Keep it quick because we have like 20 plus people. So just your name, where you are from. Some people are from different areas. So just go through that. And then the third is just any relation or connection you have with Narayaneeyam, what got you here, right? I'm just curious to see what the inspiration is for you all to learn that. Also which language you're going to be using. So it gives me a perspective of how many are Telugu or Tamil, Sanskrit or English also, right? So I'll just start with me. So Rajesh Jayaraman, I've met some of you before. So I'm from Buffalo Grove in the northwest suburbs. I learned Narayaneeyam when I was a child, 13, 14 years in Mumbai with my parents and my entire family because we held it in our house. So one guru used to come to our house and our entire family learned Narayaneeyam at that time. I've been chanting it since then, so about more than 3 decades now. But in 2021, 2020, when COVID hit, few people from Chicago reached out and said, why don't you start teaching? That was my first venturing into teaching anything. So I started in 2020 March, and now because of Guru Ayappan's blessings, we completed 7 batches. You guys are batch number 9, right? We're finishing up on the 7th batch by end of April. So more than about 125 to 150 people learning majority from Chicago, and then I also teach Devi Mahatmyam and Srimad Bhagavatam as well, and Vishnu Sahasranamam, etc. Anyway, so that's from my side. So I'll start from the person on my top left. Devi, you are the first one on my screen.
Hi, Vanakkam. I don't know what mode of language I have to speak, but
English, because there is a mix of people. So,
okay. My name is Devi Shankar. Currently, I'm in South Barrington here. I am a Keralite, born and brought up in Kerala, but I can speak Tamil, but my Narayaneeyam will be because I cannot read and write Tamil, so I'll be reading it in Malayalam.
Hi, I'm Shankar. I will be reciting in Tamil. My sisters in Madras, they know Narayaneeyam in Tamil. They are the one who inspired me to learn it here. Thank you.
Thank you. Hema Kannan.
Yes, so I'm Hema Kannan. I'm from Buffalo Grove. So, the reason, I was inspired into this was because of one of my friends. I think she's already in one of your batches, Harini Venkat. And I was just casually talking to her, and she introduced me to this. And since then, I've been trying to, join one of the batches. Yeah. And I speak Tamil. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. I'll be following the Tamil text.
Okay. Anu?
Yeah, I'm Anu. I live in the Palatine area, and I'll be following the Tamil text as well. The reason I wanted, I didn't know Narayaneeyam existed until last year, but I've been trying to learn Vishnu Sahasranamam, Lalita Sahasranamam. So I did those, and then one of my friend Anita had mentioned that she's taking the class from you. So that kind of led me to look into what Narayaneeyam was, and I'm here.
Absolutely. Thanks, Anu. And Anu and I know each other. We know each other last 19 years, but we never talked about this.
Yes.
So. Okay. Lakshmi?
Yeah, Lakshmi from Kansas City. My inspiration is Meenu. Meenu is my teacher from Chicago, and it's all because of her I'm here. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Following Tamil.
Tamil, okay. Biju?
Hey, I'm Baiju. I stay in Naperville, and I am from Kerala. Therefore, I follow the Malayalam. And last year, my mom is here, and she was very lucky, and she was able to participate the Narayaneeyam chanting in Lamont Temple, and we met on that day. I don't know whether Rajesh, you know me or not, but yeah, that's very much. She was very, very lucky, and she was talking to. Our relatives also, how she is able to chant Narayaneeyam in Chicago. Actually, that is very, very great for that.
Absolutely. Thanks, Baiju. Yeah, so we do at least 1 to 2 full Parayanams, which is 100 Dasakams, and we do about 2 to 3 half, which is 50 Dasakams. And last year we did the full 100 at Lemont for Krishna Janmashtami at the Krishna Sannidhi. And this year we're again doing a full 100 in the Ramar Sannidhi because we have a lot more people this year. So I think it is August 16th or 17th, one of those days. I think that's what Baiju is referring to last year when we did. Yeah. Pramila?
Hi, my name is Pramila. I am from Naperville, Illinois. I'm basically from Kerala, so I would be following a little bit of Malayalam and mostly of Sanskrit, because I do chant Lakshmi Sahasranamam and Vishnu Sahasranamam and some other stotrams, because that's how I grew up. My mom, and after getting married, thankfully my mother-in-law also, I have heard them chant Narayaneeyam and Bhagavatam and everything. I've been trying to train myself, all by myself, listening to YouTube videos and everything. But as Baiju said, last year I happened to hear your chanting in Lemon Temple, and I decided, okay, this is my chance now. So I'm here. Thank you very much, Rajesh. Yeah.
Hari?
Hey, good evening all. My name is Hariharan. I'm currently in Michigan. I recently moved from Chicago to here. I'm Rajesh, you know Kritika. I'm Kritika's husband. So I'm familiar with Tamil, though I know Malayalam, but I am very fluent in Tamil. So it's good to hear from her that you are taking the class. Okay, at that when she started at the time, she asked me to, why don't you join? I said it's not the right time for me. Just go ahead. So because I was traveling abroad and also it take 3 to 4 months to come back and all, very difficult to take the classes from there. Then I now this is a chance for me. I think with the blessing of Lord Guru Ayappan, just I.
Hari's wife Kritika is a long time student of mine. Learned Vishnu Sahasranamam, Narayaneeyam, and Devi Mahatmyam, everything. So
She is ready for Bhagavatam as well.
I know she's ready.
She is very eager. I don't know when you are going to start.
Vidya Medal.
Namaste everyone. It was nice meeting you all. My name is Vidya and I speak Kannada and I follow Kannada language. And I had the opportunity with Sabita ji, second half of the Narayaneeyam she have hosted in her house. So how I know Sabita ji is we have a Vedic chanting group. She is one of the person like in our group. And Madhuji is also there, and then Shivani is also learning from you. So like now me and Mrunalini ji is like almost all our Vedic chanting group is coming to you for the Narayaneeyam.
Yeah, Savita and Vani Garu are long. No, they completed it while back. Now they are in Bhagavatam right now. So yeah.
Correct. So that's how like we are introduced, and then we met you all there in the Savita ji's house. And
yeah.
That's how I am here.
Sure.
Thank you.
Priya Anand.
Hi all, Priya Anand from Buffalo Grove. I follow Tamil, speak Tamil. I'm learning Devi Mahatmyam with Rajesh. I actually wanted to learn Nara. It was a dilemma between this and Devi Mahatmyam. I picked that first, but I got the opportunity now to continue with you, Rajesh. I also found a treasure from my mom's room that she had a Narayanam book. So all the more it's a calling now to get this in my, my books. But I'm really looking forward to this class. Thank you.
Thanks, Priya. Suganya.
Hello, everyone. Nice to see you. And thank you, Rajesh. So I live in Palatine and I'll be following Tamil. I speak Tamil and read Tamil. So that's what I'll be following. I've heard about Narayaneeyam through one of my aunt back in India. And I think unconsciously I said, like I was giving kids as a reason. I said, like when I become an empty nester, I will start. And I think it has come back to me. So I'm challenging myself to start learning. I think we have a veteran group here, but I'm fairly new, just admit to it, but I'm going to try my best to learn.
Thanks, Suganya. Deepa, Srikanth.
Namaste, I'm Deepa from Naperville. Born in Thrissur, grew up in Calcutta. I've been visiting the Ayyappan temple and Guru Ayappan temple in Calcutta and been listening to my Amma chanting the Narayaneeyam and Bhagavatam and I don't know what else. So she is my inspiration and I have been wanting to learn it, but I really didn't find anyone who was willing to teach me, or like I didn't find anyone, and it is just by chance that I happened to talk to Sri Vidya, and she was the one who gave me your name, and that's how I am here.
Thanks, Deepa. Vidya Raman. You're in mute, Vidya.
Okay. Hi, I'm Vidya from Palatine, Chicago suburbs, north of suburbs. Well, Priyam asked me, hey, do you want to join this Narayaneeyam session? Rajesh is starting. I'm like, yeah, of course. And I have a book sitting in my house, for the past several years. My mother-in-law learned it like way back in 2004. And I go like, yeah, I've been staring at that book. I'm like, one of these days I should start. And now's the perfect time. Thanks to Priyam so much. And I also met Rajesh and I go like, okay, fine. I've heard a lot of good things about, and I also want to learn Bhagavatam, but now I think it's perfect time to start with Narayaneeyam and then probably get into Bhagavatam. So yeah. And I'll be, I don't know if I can read the whole thing in Sanskrit. It's difficult. So I'll be following the Tamil. This is what has been in my house for like the past several years, decade and a half. So I'm going to reread from that.
Sure. Yeah, but Tamil, Sanskrit is ideal, but Tamil, Malayalam, Telugu is also good. Tamil, you may have to work a little bit harder just to get the words going, but that's okay. My son does it in English, right? So people do it in all whatever they are comfortable with.
But we have you, so we're going to be listening and
no, absolutely. And I'll break the words and all that, so you can make it. It's
absolutely. So hopefully, after learning this, my desire, my long-term desire is to go to Guruvayur. So hopefully I get the blessing and calling.
No, absolutely.
And probably chant Narayaneeyam in front of Guruvayur open.
Absolutely. Girish, Priyam.
Yes, hi, Girish, and of course, Priyam. So I think I joined mostly because of Priyam. I think she was the one who was mostly connected with all of you. But I think I'm also from Palatine. I think if we chant loud enough, I think there will be a quite of a resonance here. There is Suganya, there is Vidya, there is Anu. So we can definitely looking forward to this. I've been from familial background, Tata, plus in my Priyam's parents, all of them have chanted different things, and it's always the resonance, the vibration is all extremely lovely to hear. And had some experience during my college days to learn some of these, not Narayaneeyam, but other sort of mantras and slokams. So had a definite liking towards it. And so I think never got to a proper class to learn. So always love to understand as well as sort of pronunciations and stuff like that. Pesar the Tamil, but I don't think I can read Tamil as much, unfortunately. But so I'm going to follow Sanskrit as my language. It will be both Priyam and I will be following Sanskrit. So thank you, Rajesh, and looking forward.
Sure. Priyam is not there today, Girish?
She's here. She just went to get something. The dog ran out, so she'll be.
No. Yeah, I think Priyam has been the one who's been like behind me since last Navratri. We met in 4 houses, and every house she used to come and say, when are you going to start? So finally the time has come. Even now, like as you know, the other batch is still not over yet, but we are starting early.
No, I really appreciate you sort of accommodating all the different schedule possibility. I believe there was also her classmate, schoolmate from UK who was supposed to join. I don't see her in the list.
I think there are two people from UK. They are not going to be able to join the Friday evening ones, but they'll start. They'll follow it remotely and then start once we do the Saturday.
So I think Bhuvaneshwari, I think we go back very long. It's her like elementary school classmate. So I think it's lovely that so many familiar faces here, and yes, definitely looking forward. Thank you.
Mrinalini.
Hari Om. I'm Mrinalini, and I live in Buffalo Grove. So myself and Vidya ji, we both are partner in crime. Wherever we go, we chant together. We go together to any places. So we met you in Sabita ji's house for the chanting, and it was very good. I mean, when with the broken thing, we were trying to read through the script. I could do at least maybe one word or in that whole sentence. So I said, okay, it's fine. I think we can go ahead and learn. So that's when myself and Vidya, we both approached you, and thanks for adding us. Thank you. That's about me.
Usha. I think Usha, I don't know if I called you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry. I've been
feeling well. I don't know if my camera is working,
No.
but yeah, I have an issue with my camera. So I live in St. Louis, and I speak multiple South Indian languages. I speak Tamil, Kannada, Malayalam, and a little bit of Telugu, and I speak Hindi. But I'm kind of relatively new to Sanskrit, so working on picking that up. And I met Rajesh at the temple here at St. Louis when he came to visit for the chanting, the all-day Narayaneeyam chanting. So that's when I decided to learn. Thank you.
Thanks, Usha. Yeah, we have a good contingent out of St. Louis right now. So every year we do a full 100 Dasakam Parayanam in St. Louis. We did one last December, right, Usha? That's when you had come there. Yeah. Madhavi Garu? Madhavi?
Hello, Namaskaram. I'm Madhavi Kotapalli. I live in Clarendon Hills. I learned Devi Mahatmyam through Jaya, and I was introduced to the Bhaskara Prakash Ashramam and through Jaya Garu, Jaya Kodravalli. And I have a wonderful chanting group here in Clarendon Hills, and through that, I was introduced to you, and I heard wonderful things about your teaching, and Jaya described it as like a Ganga Pravaham. So she's like, it's so beautiful and you must learn. And so I was encouraged, by my dear friends. So I'm here. Thank you so much. And I'll be using the Telugu script.
Okay.
I'll be using the Telugu too. Me and Madhavi, we both are co-sisters.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good to know. Sita Lakshmi?
Hello. Namaskaram, everyone. Namaskaram, everyone. I speak Tamil. I'm from Tamil Nadu, but born and brought up in Gujarat. And I'll be using the Sanskrit script. I've been interested in learning this for a while, and just happened to talk to my good friend Vijaya Veeraraghavan, who mentioned about you, and then I connected with you, and the story goes basically. So, thank you for making me part of your team.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah.
Thank you. Is there anyone I missed? I think I covered everybody. If anyone I missed, please. Okay. Perfect. So thanks, everyone. So what I'll do today, right? I know you all do enough PowerPoint presentations at work, but that's the way I do things. So for today's class, I'm going to take like 10 minutes of your time. I have a bunch of slides. It's just background and stories, right? So I'm just going to share my screen and we'll cover that. Okay. I'm hoping you all are able to see my screen, right? Okay, so what we'll do today, right, is I'll kind of give you like a quick overview, right? Before you get into anything, it's important to kind of get some history on what is it, why was it even composed, right? So that is, it's called Puranam of not just the sthalam of where it was composed, but also about the author and about why the author even had to do this, right? So we'll kind of go through some of those stories today. And then I'll just talk briefly about how the class is going to be conducted. And then the last 5 minutes of today, we'll just do one stanza just to kick it off, right? So that's the kind of the agenda for today. So I won't bore you all long with the Mahabharata stories, but you all know enough about Mahabharata. But if you kind of go to the tail end of Mahabharata, so you know about Abhimanyu, right, who was the son of Arjuna and Subhadra. He was killed in the Chakravyuha. All of that happened. Now, after the war was over, when Duryodhana was in his deathbed, literally, he was about to die, Ashwathama felt that he had not done his duties. So what Ashwathama does is he goes and then he sends out a Brahmastra, 5 Brahmastras pointing towards each of the Pandavas, and one of them towards Uttara, who is the daughter-in-law of Arjuna. Because what happens is this Ashwathama ends up killing the Upa Pandavas, which are the children of the Pandavas, accidentally, thinking they are the Pandavas. So the only person left in the lineage of the Pandavas was this baby, which was in the womb of Uttara, and then the Pancha Pandavas. So he then sends out the 6 Brahmastras. And just when Krishna was leaving from that place and going to Dwaraka, this Brahmastra is coming. And Uttara comes running towards Krishna and saying, I'm feeling a heat in my stomach. I feel like somebody has targeted something towards my womb. So at that time, what Krishna does is he takes the size of a thumb, gets into the womb of Uttara, and protects that embryo from getting destroyed by the Brahmastra. So that baby which is born is called as Parikshit. So that is that it's called Parikshit for multiple reasons. One of them is, Ikshita means to look, Pari is to look around. So this baby is like looking around saying, this is a sacred place inside the mother's womb. How does an intruder come in, right? He's suddenly seeing this Mahavishnu coming in with Chaturbhujan, with 4 hands and protecting him. So that's one name for it. The second meaning of that word is he's curious. Who's this person who protected me? So he goes looking out for that person. Anyway, that's the name Parikshit. So now this Parikshit, eventually he takes over the reign of the Pandavas. Everything is going well, right? He's one of the best kings. He has the legacy of the Pandavas. Sometimes things start working out of favor. So at around the age of 60, he's going hunting one day. He gets very tired, thirsty, and then he wanders off into this place where there's a sage who's meditating. And Parikshit, he knows dharma. He knows what is right. He knows what not to do. But he goes and asks the sage, can I get some food? And the sage is not talking. He's in meditation. He doesn't know what's happening. So Parikshit gets frustrated and his bad time is starting. What he does is he picks up a dead snake that is lying there and puts it as a garland around the sage. And Parikshit goes away, right? A great person like Parikshit never commits mistakes like this, but in this case, he ended up doing. Now, what happens is the sage's son, who is a Brahmana boy, comes to know about it. And then he curses, saying, whoever did this, and he comes to know Parikshit does it. He said, how can the king do such an atrocious act to a sage? So he curses Parikshit, saying that 7 days from now, you're going to be bit by Takshaka, which is like a flying snake, and you're going to die. Right? So Parikshit, who's upholding dharma, and he's the transition point between Kali Yugam starting and bad things beginning to happen. He's now suddenly cursed and saying in 7 days, you're going to die. If we get to know about it, which you'll be lucky if you know it, because nobody knows when you're going to die. But Parikshit comes to know, what would we do? We have a bucket list of places to visit, things to eat. We have all these things, right? Parikshit takes an entirely opposite approach. What Parikshit says is, I have only 7 days left. I'm not going to eat. I'm not going to drink a drop of water. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to devote my entire mind towards Krishna. That's what I'm going to do. So when Parikshit decides to do that, he goes to the bank of Ganges and he sits saying, 7 days, I'm not going to eat, drink, do nothing. I'm just going to starve and just think about Krishna. So when a devotee is thinking like that, Krishna always makes sure he sends an appropriate person to help him out. So Krishna then sends Shuka Brahman, who is the son of Veda Vyasa. Now Veda Vyasa, this parallel story goes here. You all know Veda Vyasa compiled the Vedas. He didn't write the Vedas. He took the Vedas and he broke it into 4 parts so we can at least learn one of those parts. He was not satisfied with it because not everybody can chant the Vedas. It's very hard, right? And even if you can learn one Veda in your lifetime, that is huge. So he said, okay, a lot of people cannot access it. So I'm going to then write Mahabharata, which is all of the dharmas of the Vedas in a form that everybody can understand. So because anybody can read Mahabharata stories, right? So within the stories, he embedded all these dharma. Bhagavad Gita is coming as part of Mahabharata. Vishnu Sahasranamam is coming as part of it. So he did all of these things for mankind. Despite doing all this, imagine this, Veda Vyasa is feeling he has not contributed enough to the community. He's saying, I'm not feeling satisfied. I've done Mahabharata, I've compiled the Vedas, I'm still not satisfied. So Narada one day comes and tells, that's because, and I'm sure a lot of you are Tamil here, if you watch a Rajini movie or a Vijay movie, the hero is the center of the movie. Nobody else has any role. So that's what Narada comes and tells him. You've done all these great work, but you haven't put Bhagavan Krishna or Narayana as the center of your work. You kind of made him like a side actor. You're talking about him, but he's not the center of that movie in everything that you did. So he says you should go and write Srimad Bhagavatam, where you put that Bhagavan Krishna as the center, and then everything else has to revolve around him. All the stories, all the episodes, everything around him. So he goes and compiles Srimad Bhagavatam, which is one of the 18 Puranas. It is a huge Purana. It's got 18,000 shlokas, right? So massively complicated, hard, very difficult. It goes through everything about cosmos, creations, and everything, right? So like some of them are mentioning, I teach Bhagavatam now, but it's a long journey, 10-year journey, right? So anyway, so Veda Vyasa compiles the Srimad Bhagavatam and then he makes it available to people. So that is one part of the story. So now the reason I'm telling all this is Parikshit devoted his 7 days to hearing this Bhagavatam from Shuka Brahman for 7 days, and finally Parikshit got liberated. So that is a little bit of the backstory. I'll tell you how it connects to Narayaneeyam. So because this Bhagavatam is so hard, and this was compiled when Krishna left, which was around 3500 BC. Now what happens to the current Kali Yuga, right? When we are here, nobody has a time to learn all these complicated and difficult things, right? So a person is born called as Narayana Bhattatri. So this Bhattatri was born in Kerala, and he is considered as one of the incarnation of some great saint, maybe Veda Vyasa or Shuka Brahman, or one of those people. Because what Bhattatri ends up doing, right, is in his childhood, he was born in a Nambudri family, very educated. He learned the Vedas when he was 13, 14. Everything was going right. He gets married. And one day, because he was still in his early, adulthood or whatever, there's a person who was actually Achyuta Pisharati, who is one of his relatives, has the Rashi Chakram on the floor, and Bhattatri is coming and then he jumps over it because he's still in that under 20 age, right? So at that time, he comes to a realization, he's then apprehended and all that, and he comes to a realization that what am I doing with my life, right? So he then decides that he needs to get back into learning the scriptures. So Bhattatri learns all that from Achyuta Pisharati. That guru of his gets rheumatoid arthritis. So he's unable to move his entire body. He's got pain in his joints. He's unable to move. So Bhattatri goes and asks him, I have not given you a guru dakshina. So because at that time, these people from Kerala were very good in tantras and all that. So he says, somehow he's able to take on that rheumatoid arthritis from his guru onto himself. So his guru doesn't feel the pain, right? So now Bhattatri in Kerala now, he's stuck with rheumatoid arthritis. And because of that, he's not able to move. He's not able to do anything. He's in severe pain. He can't even write. Nothing could be done at this point, right? At that time, Bhattatri decides to go to Guruvayur. So now we'll kind of come to why he goes to Guruvayur. So like the movie goes, we're going to go back to the Parikshit story again. So Parikshit gets liberated, right? Now Takshaka comes and eventually bites Parikshit. But Parikshit gets liberated. He goes and merges with Bhagavan because he has heard Srimad Bhagavatam for 7 days, right? So he is completely liberated. Now Parikshit's son, Janame Jayan, who takes up the throne. So Janame Jayan comes to hear from one of the rishis when he's asking, hey, tell me about my father, tell me about the greatness of my ancestors. So at that time, Janame Jayan's, one of the guru tells him that Uttankar tells him that your father was bit by this Takshaka, a snake bird. So Janame Jayan conducts the Sarpa Satra Yagnyam, where when you chant, snakes from all over come and land into the fire. So they self-destruct themselves, all these snakes. So he conducts this yajnam, and all these snakes are coming and falling into the fire. So at that time, the Astika Munivar, one of the sages, is coming and telling him, why are you doing this thing? Your father was bit by one snake, right? And that Takshaka you can call, but you cannot. Why are you killing all these snakes? So anyway, he stops that yajnam. But what happens is because he has killed so many snakes, he gets a skin disease all over his body. This Janame Jayan gets a skin disease. So at that time, Janame Jayan ends up going to Guruvayur. Okay, this is dating back to 3000 BC, right? So at that time, Janame Jayan goes to Guruvayur because the idol there, the Guruvayurappan idol there, was established by Guru and Vayu, Brihaspati and Vayu, which was given by Lord Krishna when he was departing the earth at the end of the Dwapara Yuga to his friend Uddhava and told him, you go deposit. Now this idol came all the way, and we'll go through some of the timelines much later, but all the way from Brahma worshipping it to a person called Prishni Garbha, when Bhagavan incarnated as Prishni Garbha, he worshipped it. Later on, it was given to Kashyapa and Aditi, and in Vamana Avataram, they worshipped it. It then came on to Vasudeva and Devaki, and they worshipped it. Eventually, Krishna had it, and then Krishna gave it to Uddhava to Brihaspati and Guruvayu, and they kept it in Guruvayu. So it's a very powerful idol, right? The Chaturbhujam idol of Krishna, which is there. So Janmejayan said, I have to go to Guruvayu, then I'm going to get cured. And he got cured. So now coming to Bhattatripa's stories, he says if Janmejayan, after committing so many sins, can go to Guruvayur and then get recovered, I, who have actually done a good job of taking this from my guru, I should also get cured. So he goes to Guruvayur, Bhattatripa, and there he compiles this Narayaneeyam. So in this Narayaneeyam, what Bhattaripa does is, he said, the reason I was tying that Bhagavatam story to this is, 18,000 stanzas of Bhagavatam, Bhattaripa has really written an executive summary as 1,032 stanzas in Narayaneeyam. So everything that comes in Srimad Bhagavatam is condensed and made available in Narayaneeyam. Right? So that is how it is. In fact, if you go to a lot of this, even Dushyant Sridhar's Srimad Bhagavatam Parayanams, he will literally chant from Narayaneeyam. Because Bhattaripa has done such a wonderful job of condensing all of these things, right? And making it available so you can quickly understand everything that is to be learned, right? So that is what he does. So he wrote one Dasakam. It's called the Dasakam because on an average, it's about 10 stanzas. Most of them are 10 stanzas. Some of them may have 11, 12, 13 stanzas, right? So on an average, it's about 10. So it's called a Dasakam. So every day, he wrote one Dasakam of Narayaneeyam sitting in front of Guruvayurappan. So for those of you who have visited Guruvayur, if you enter into the final Sannidhi, when you enter into the small window, you immediately look to your left. There will be a plaque, a board, which will say, Sri Narayana Bhattatri sat here and wrote Narayaneeyam. So it is still there. So when you're entering, you immediately look to your left, you will be able to see it, right? So he had a direct vision of the Lord when he was actually writing this Narayaneeyam. Now, the most important thing about it is, it was written as a first person to Krishna. What that means is, he will not say, Krishna did this. He will say, you did this. You came here and you did this. So he always addresses Krishna in first person. And that is how this entire thing is written, is directly addressing Krishna in first person. And there are a lot of things which we'll cover in it, right? And, in a lot of places, I'll tell you where he wasn't sure in some places what words to use or whether this really happened. When he was writing about Rasa Krida, we'll see in Krishna Avataram, he wanted to know how the dance was that Krishna did. So he had a vision of the dance, so he can write it in that way. How did Krishna dance on the Kaliya snake? So he had all those visions. It was directly written from his experience, but of course, keeping Srimad Bhagavatam to its side. And on the 100th day, he gets a vision of Guruvayurappan right in front of his eyes. And then he describes that form called as the Keshadipada Varnanam. All the way from the top of the head of Krishna to the bottom of the feet, he describes the form that he actually sees right in front of his eyes. And then he eventually gets cured on the 100th day, right? So that is the context behind why Narayaneeyam was written, and then the person who wrote it, Narayana Bhattatri, and why he picked Guruvayur to write it, right? So that kind of hopefully the story comes together, right, in terms of why this is relevant, right? Now, very quickly about the class itself, right? Like I said, sorry about the time here. Ignore this time. So, like I said, it is it takes about 22 months on an average, typically 20 to 22 months to complete it. Most of the times, rain, shine, snow, I have the class. Okay, so with exceptions, right? Maybe Christmas holiday or Thanksgiving, we may not have the class. Even if I'm traveling, I'll take it from where I am. So we will have the class every single week. And then it'll be a 90-minute class. It'll be posted on YouTube. I'll send you guys the link right after the class. So even if you cannot attend for any reason, the expectation is you are still going and reviewing what has been taught the previous class and come prepared for the next class, right? Because if you lose that momentum, then it gets very hard to, catch up with it, right? So the expectation is you're consistent with this. And then every 10 Dasakams we complete, we'll have like a group chanting where, you all can chant one chapter, kind of like a review session that we will do. Typically, I pick on random, but planned to my sheet, but random for you all, 2 students to chant what we learned the previous class. And then I'll pick 2 students for the first half of the class to repeat after me. So I will first tell you how to break it. I will then say it. And then 2 of you will repeat 2 times. Then midway class will shift to 2 more people who repeat 2 times, right? Now, because this is a big class, we have 20 plus people. I might break it into 3, but let's not worry about that, right? And if you're not able to come for a class for any reason, just inform me ahead of time so I know that you are not going to be there. I'll pause here at 7:40, 10 minutes anybody has any questions about what we discussed or anything about the class, you can keep it interactive. You can ask me questions. I won't mind.
I have a question. So you had mentioned that it's better to get a hard copy of the book. Wondered if you can share the publication and where we can get it from.
Yeah, so Giri Stores is typically the recommended Giri publications. If you know GIRI Giri Stores, it's there in Chennai, Bangalore, Bombay, multiple cities. They have it. They also have a website for the US. If you all want, I know a person who can do bulk ordering from Giri and get some discounts. So if there are multiple people who want it, we can let Giri Stores know and they're willing to ship it from California or something.
Okay.
But I have some books I can go check. I might have some Sanskrit and Tamil books with me, Narayaneeyam, about 2 to 3. So anybody who is local can pick it up from me. I'll let you guys know how much
Sanskrit.
I have. Okay, I'll check and let you know what I have.
Okay.
I'll take a Tamil one.
Okay, sure.
I'll take the Sanskrit too.
Okay, I'll check and say how many are there. Okay, when I go to India, I normally bring like 10 to 12 books all the time because I know somebody will need it all. Anyways. Okay.
Just that it'll be easier to access. If you have one, then we can, get it.
Yeah. No, definitely you need to have a book. If you don't have a book, I would strongly recommend you print those PDFs I sent you because we will be making edits to the stanzas. So you will need a hard copy. Okay. You cannot do it with a soft copy. So you absolutely need to have a hard copy.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I checked on Amazon. Giri Publications, actually it's available in Tamil, Sanskrit and Telugu.
Okay. Yeah.
I have this from Ramakrishna Ashram. Hope it is the same one.
It should be. I'm sure there are multiple things. Generally, 95% of the script will be the same. If there's some words here or there which is different, just make the change as we're going through it, right? So I stick to one book. You may not have the exact book. So if the words are different, you can just make those changes as we go through it.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. Any other question on the class itself or the background or anything?
Dhyana Slokam you chanted throughout. I'm assuming because everybody is familiar with it. But for the other ones, you will be doing a one-on-one, right? So whoever is not part of the two students, they can go on mute and
yes, yeah. So the Dhyana Slokam, like the first page of the Dhyana Slokam are very simple things. Most of you might already know everything. The second page might be new things for you, but I think we're going to do it every week. So I think that you can just do a self-learn, right? You can just learn based on the recording. One of the stanza is going to come in the first chapter, so we'll cover that. Rest of the stuff you'll do self-learning. But yeah, in the class, I will call out who I'm picking as students, and we'll go through one session today, and then the rest of them be on mute and you chant on mute, right? That's the easiest way. Okay. All right. So with that, we can get into the first Dasakam today. We can do a couple of stanzas, right? Let me see if there's anything else I wanted to cover. Yeah. So once we complete the Dasakam, I will send an MP3 recording of me chanting just that Dasakam in a slow pace. So you can, chant along with it and practice as well. And one other thing is I strongly recommend you pair up or groups of 3, 4, however you want to practice. That is the best way. That's what I recommend. And it totally works for all the people who learn from me is they pair up with somebody to practice because that way you can correct each other, before the next class. And the first 10 Dasakams, you're going to find it hard. I'll tell it upfront. Right. And, Hari knows it from Kritika, and you can ask your friends who have learned from me as well. It's always hard. The first 10 Dashakams, it'll take time to get used to the script, get used to the ways of chanting the words. But once you can get through the first 10, then it'll absolutely be smooth sailing after that. Okay. So just remember that. So don't give up because you find it hard in the first 10, right? So, all right. So since today is the first class, any two who wants to volunteer. Okay, Pramila.
I can.
Devi. Okay. I just saw Devi and Pramila first, so I'll have them. So whoever's name I say first, Pramila. So Pramila, you'll say first, and Devi, you say second, right? Just to keep things simple. Okay, so you have the text in front of you, right? Okay. So first I'm going to say the stanza. I'm going to explain the meaning. Then I'm going to break the words. and then I say 2 lines, and then you repeat. I'll tell you when to repeat, right? So till then, you can just follow through. So the first Dasakam is called Bhagavan Mahimanu Varnanam. So you first start off describing the glory of the Lord. So the person who we are going to be chanting Narayaneeyam to, what is the glory of that person? That is this entire Dasakam, right? So stanza 1. Sandhanandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshavadibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam aspashtam drishtamatre punarurupurushartatmakam brahmatattvam tattavadbhati sakshat guru pavanapure hanta bhagyam jananam. So the first stanza always has to be the most impactful stanza, right? So when you're starting it off, so you all know about this definition of Brahman, not Brahma, Brahman. So Brahman is that supreme consciousness from which everything has come. And we're going to get into the details of Brahman and cosmos, etc. in the 5th Dashakam, right? So I won't get too much into it. But this Brahman, when you go and ask people what it is, nobody can clearly articulate what it is. Because this is unlike us. We are all bound by certain things. So for example, I'm sitting now at 747 in Buffalo Grove. Because I'm a human, I'm bound by this. A Brahman cannot be bound by space and time. You cannot say the Brahman is sitting at this point, but it is not there tomorrow. It is there all the time. It is not just sitting in Buffalo Grove, it is sitting across the entire cosmos, right? So it is not bound by time or space or any of that, right? That starts off with, the description of this. Then it says, we all have we all have karma. If we do not have karma, we wouldn't have been born. So we are all bound by that karma, that we have to repay that karma. That's why we are born. It says this Brahman is not bound by any of those limitations. It is completely free of any karma. It does not have any reason to do anything. It is independent of all of that. What we are all happy when something we want, we get it. If we take the thing away, we all get sad. So a Brahman is not like that. It is supreme bliss, which is independent of anything that happens to it. It's always in a state of bliss. It is not happy or sad because certain things are happening, right? So you kind of, in mathematics, you say 1 minus things, right? So if you kind of think of your own self, right? You have all these characteristics. You have a form. Brahman does not have a form. You have a certain, shape. Brahman cannot have a shape. You have a color. Brahman cannot have a color. So you kind of take all this 1 minus what you are, that then becomes the Brahman. Now, what they are saying here is this Brahman, which all these Upanishads, every single Upanishad talks about what that Brahman is. Whether you talk about every Vedam you talk about talks about it. Purusha Suktam talks about it. All of these things talks about this Brahman. But what Bhattaripad is saying that even though it is there, it is aspashtam. It is not clear. I can sit here and talk for 30 minutes about this Brahman. You will still not understand what that is. Neither will I understand. Because it is so difficult to grasp what the Brahman is. But what all these Upanishads say is that Brahman is that supreme bliss, that's a supreme consciousness without which nothing can exist. And if you can understand it, you get liberated. So if such a Brahman exists and you cannot understand it, how do you even get to comprehend it? Right? So Bhattaripad says it's, Bhagyam Jananam. He says the people of this world are so lucky because that Brahman which cannot be defined, you give it a shape, you give it a form, and that is standing in front of me in Guruvayur as Guruvayurappan. So if that is standing in front of me as Guruvayurappan, why are people struggling to go and understand this Brahman? He says that Brahman is standing Sakshat in front of me. He says Sakshat Guru Pavanapure. Guru Pavanapure referring to Guruvayurappan. That Sakshat as Guruvayurappan, that Brahman is standing. And Hanta means alas, it's Bhagyam Janana. It is such a Bhagyam for this world that all you have to do is go and see that Guruvayurappan and Guruvayur and you have seen Brahman. Right? So that's how he starts off by saying this complicated entire Brahman, don't worry about it. You don't have to try to understand it. Just assume it is Guruvayurappan because it is that Brahman taking the shape of Guruvayurappan and being in Guruvayur. Okay, so we'll get into the words now. So, Sandra Nandava. So, if you know Sanskrit, this is relatively easy because I will be breaking the words. So Sandranandava Bodhatmakam Anupamitam. So that ma that is there, in a lot of places we break it as im and a. Okay. So here Bodhatmakam Anupamitam. If you break it that way, it is easier to say. So wherever possible, I will break it. Doesn't mean you need to break it. If you are able to chant through it without breaking it, that is also fine, right? But for the common, I'll kind of break it. So Sandranandava Bodhatmakam Anupamitam, and then put a comma. So when I say put a comma, that means you pause there. That's because you may not be able to say the entire sentence completely in one flow. But I don't want you to stop in wrong places and change the meaning of that. So when I say comma, you pause in the places I'm telling you to pause. And certain places where in English you put commas, exclamations, question marks, right? All of that I will loosely refer to as commas. So that means you pause there. Okay. So Anupamitam, comma, Kala Desha Vadibhyam, end of the line, so comma there. Nirmuktam, Nitya Muktam, comma, Nigama Shata. So the other word is, for example, this Nigama Shata Sahasrena will be written as one word. Wherever possible, I call out the separation of individual words. Like I'm saying Nigama Shata Sahasrena. So you can kind of put like a vertical divider, right, if you want. So you can then say these words individually. Sometimes in Sanskrit, there's a rule called sandhi, which is joining of words. So when the sandhi comes, some places we'll break it, some places we won't break it. Like the first word I said, right? So that place you have to say the whole word together. But in this case, you can put a divider so you can say it easily. So Nigama Shata Sahasrena Nirbhasya Manam. Okay, so I hope you guys got the context of what to do, right? I mean, if you don't know, please stop and ask me, right? And I'll help. Okay, so this is the first two lines. So what I'll do is like I did first two lines, I told you where to pause. Now I'm going to say it one time, the first two lines. And then who did we pick? We picked Devi, you, and Pramila. Yeah. So Pramila, you say it two times. Devi, you say it two times. And if you make mistakes, I'll stop you, correct, right? Don't worry about it. You can make any amount of mistakes, right? Sandhanandhavabodhatmakamanupamitam kaladeshabadhibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashatasahasrena nirbhasyamanam.
Can I say it?
Yeah, you can go ahead, yeah.
Sandranandavabodhatmagamanupamitam kaladeshavadhibhyam Nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashadasahasrena nirbhasyamanam.
Yeah, two times. Yeah.
Santranandavabodhatmagamanupamitam kaladeshavadhibhyam Nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashadasahasrena nirbhasyamanam.
Yeah, there we go ahead.
Sandranandavabodhatmaganupamamidam kaladeshavadhibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashadasahasrena nirbhasyamanam.
The first line, first word, bodhatmakam anupamitam.
Bodhatmakam anupamitam.
Yeah.
Sandranandavabodhatmaka manupamitam.
Bodhatmakam anupamitam.
Bodhatmakam anupamitam. Correct or no?
Yeah, correct.
Sandranandavabodhatmakam anupamidam kaladeshavadhibhyam nirmuktam nityamuktam nigamashadasahasrena nirbhasyamanam.
So this one, the 100 Dasakam, there is three. I'm not a good singer, so if you're not a good singer, don't worry about it. There are only three tunes. Anything which is a four-liner will follow this tune that we just chanted. Then there are two-liners which are slightly different tune, but not too much into singing. So you don't need to know singing to be able to say it, okay? But slightly different tunes. Aspashtam drishtamatre, comma, punaruru purushart atmakam. Okay, so that word, if you want to break that atmakam, punaruru purushartatmakam, Brahma Tattvam, comma, Tattavat Bhati Sakshat Guru Pavana Pure, comma, Hanta, another comma, because it's like an exclamation there. Alas, something like that. So Hanta, comma, Bhagyam Jananam. Aspashtam Drishtamaatre Punaruru Purushartatmakam Brahma Tattvam Tattavad Bhati Sakshat Guru Pavana Pure Hanta Bhagyam Jananam.
Aspashtam Drishtamaatre Punaruru Purushartatmakam Brahma Tattvam Tattavad Bhati Sakshat Guru Pavana Pure Hanta Bhagyam Jananam.
And the Hanta, after that Hanta, small pause. Hanta Bhagyam Jananam.
Hanta Bhagyam Jananam. Aspashtam Drishtamaatre Punaruru Purushartatmagam Brahma Tattvam Tattavad Bhati Sakshat Guru Bhavana Pure Hanta Bhagyam Jananam.
Aspashtam Drishtamaatre Punaruru Purushartatmakam Brahma Tattvam Tattavat Bhati Sakshat Guru Pavana Pure Hanta Bhagyam Jananam. Is that okay?
Yep.
Aspashtam Drishtamaatre Punaruru Purushartatmakam Brahma Tattvam Tattavadapi Sakshat Guru Pavana Pure Hanta Bhagyam Jananam.
A fourth line, first word. Tattavat Bhati.
Tattavat Bhati Sakshat Guru Pavana Pure Hanta Bhagyam Jananam.
Shri Krishnaya Parabrahmane Namaha. So end the class here today. It's 8 already. Kahena vacha manasendriyer va buddhyatmana va prakrute swabhavat karomi yatyat sakalam parasmai narayanaayeti samarpayami. So this is typically how the class will go, right? From next class, we'll start. I'll do the Dhyana Shlokam up front and then explain the meaning of each stanzas and then pick 2 students, right? So that's how it will go.
Rajesh, a quick question. So, because I'm following the Tamil text, right? There can be differences between sa, sha, those letters, right? Like now, if I say sa for the first slokam, it says Chandra.
Chandran.
It's sa, is it?
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So if most of the Tamil books have like 1, 2, 3, 4 written on it. I don't know if your book does.
I don't have it actually. Yeah.
Okay. Because that is easier. For example, in Sanskrit, tha, the.
Yeah.
Tamil, right? They'll put ta and then they'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, saying which one it is.
Yeah.
If you have it, then it is easier. If you don't have it, when you are chanting, I'll be able to catch those mistakes. But if you are not, then you have to kind of hear from the emphasis that I'm doing to know what it is.
Okay.
But typically, I see sir and cha confusion will come in Tamil. So I will catch it when you are chanting.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week.
Bye. Thank you all.
Thank you.
I just had one question. Is this
will
it be following same Zoom link?
So same Zoom link, yes. Same Zoom link.
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Bye.